Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Cory back in the shop here at ECS Tuning, and today I'm going to spend some time showing you guys how to service your ignition system on your MQB 2.0T. For this install, we're going to be using our very own assembled by ECS ignition service kit. The kit includes 4 spark plugs, 4 coil packs, and the dielectric grease you need for the bottom of the boot. So the tools you need for this install that I recommend are a Schwab magnetic 5/8 spark plug tool. Makes it super easy for dropping in and pulling out the old and new spark plugs without damaging them. We have a coil pack puller tool because we all know that these coil packs get stuck and are a pain in the butt. We're also going to need a 1/4 inch and 3/8 ratchet, a 10mm socket, a pick just in case the coil pack harnesses don't want to come undone, and although your spark plugs are pre-gapped, I recommend checking them with a gapper tool also. So with that said, let's go ahead and get our ignition service going. I know it's super hard, but you're going to want to take your engine cover off. No tools required. Just be careful not to scratch it up. Alright, so we have the dress up studs on these. These will take an 11 if you have them, but I doubt you do. So the next step is to remove the nut off the top using your 10mm. And you're going to want to take the wire off, set it aside. Don't drop those down anywhere. Moving forward, we're going to use the same 10mm and remove these. Should come out looking a little bit like this. Then next, we'll be removing these clips from the coil packs. When you're pushing these tabs down, if you can't get them out, you can actually push the harness in past the clip inside and then pull it out. Ooh, that's a satisfying noise. Alright, this is where our Schwab coil pack puller comes in handy. And if you notice at the end of here, this little cylinder, once you twist this, will go in and out, which changes the diameter of the tube that's going down into the coil pack hole. And then say you go down in like that, you tighten it up, it opens up, it grabs on, and voila. Boom. 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 Next step, we're going to take advantage of our Schwab spark plug socket. This is a 5/8 and it's magnet. Check this out. And a ratchet, of course, with a small extension. Wait for it. Here's the cool part. Boom. 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 Alright, so we're going to be actually using RS7 spark plugs. These are a little bit cooler than the factory plugs that go in this MQB, and that's because obviously we have a bunch of bolt-ons and we also have ECU upgrades. So this is going to run a little bit cooler so we can drive it a little bit hotter. Now, like always, we're going to check the gap. It should be about 0.24. And and we're good. These come pre-gapped, but we always recommend that you check. I've heard people putting anti-seize and other things on their threads. Here at ECS, we do not recommend we do that. That causes things to get over-torqued and potentially ruining your threads down at the bottom. Not only does the Schwabman tool make it great for easy removal, it also makes it easy for installation. These are going to get tightened by hand. I'm going to do the rest of these 3, and then I'll come back with a torque wrench and we're going to torque those to 30 Newton meters. Another important thing to not forget about, like I did in the intro, is you're going to need a torque wrench for the spark plug torques. We're going to set this to 30 Newton meters, and that's it. If you don't have a torque wrench, it's okay. I recommend you have one, but do not over tighten. You'll hear a click. All right, so once you're done with that, a good measure is to relieve tension from your torque wrench. It's going to increase the life of it. I cannot stand when people leave it at the torque spec. So the next step is we're going to be applying the dielectric spark plug boot protector grease. Now this is made for up to 8 spark plugs, so don't go crazy. And you can do another set later down the road if you save it. You take your coil pack. Just put a little bit in there, just like that. Also makes good for a sandwich topping later if you don't wash your hands. Just like the spark plugs, we're going to inspect this one for defects also. I'm going to check the connectors, this around here to be cracked. And once that's good, you're going to want to drop this guy in and make sure you can keep it as straight as possible. You don't want this thing to bend. Looks good to me. You might have to push this out of the way a little bit. That's all right. All right, here's our last one. Easy. Now before plugging these back in, I always like to put the stud in. That way there's no pressure on this misaligning it, and there's no chance for cross threading. So we're just going to drop that down in and thread it by hand. Just like we did on the spark plugs, we're going to go ahead and torque these down to spec. These are 10 Newton meters. If you don't have a torque wrench at home, just be mindful, do not over tighten, because these are very, very weak and you don't want to have to heel coil the threads. That said, 10 Newton meters. Bam. You know, I'm starting to feel like a real mechanic around this place. Next up, we're going to want to take our eyelets and drop them down onto the stud. Make sure they're out of the way of things and not pinched. Nope. Can't forget your nuts. He's going next. Also a 10 mil. Another good tip is don't over tighten these also. If you tighten these too tight, this whole thing will twist this, twist the stud, and then this will end up spinning. Now I'm just going to do these by hand until snug. Ideally, you want to keep these a little less tight than the studs that we torqued at 10 Newton meters. Now it's time to connect the plugs to the coil packs. It's going to give you a nice click to confirm that they're in. That pretty much wraps it up. I'm going to throw the engine cover on, get her looking pretty again. I always clip in the back ones first, just out of habit. Make sure you're not squishing any hoses, wires. Boom. Alright guys, that wraps up the install video for today. Hopefully it was helpful. Make sure to check out the product link in the description below. Until next time, make sure to comment and like, subscribe. Peace.